This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry. Yes, it's Easter weekend podcast time. We've got plenty of action for you this weekend. Clearly the all-weather finals tomorrow, which are Lingfield and Newcastle. And on Saturday, it's Haydock and Musselburgh. We won't have time, obviously, to go through everything on Saturday, the TV races, but we'll do the TV races Friday and any other business at the end, together with the best bets round, which, of course, you all love, the 1, 2, 3 points. And joining me tonight, it's a crack team. This is my favourites, John Lang. Good evening, John.
Evening, Lee.
Yeah.
Evening, everyone.
Quentin Franks, the return. Good evening, Quentin.
Evening, Lee.
Yes, it's great to have you back. We've had you on some Patreon shows, but I know it's been a busy old winter for you going through all those 2-year-old notes, etc. But we've got you back for the flat season now, which we're excited about. And last and certainly not least, it's the dual Naps King. He leads us all at the moment with 2 Naps table wins. It's Andy Richmond.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes. I'm rather jealous because I haven't won one yet. I feel all left out.
You actually deserve to win the last one, Lee. I think. I thought you'd done me at the death at Uttoxeter there, but it was.
Well, it wasn't me. It was exciting though. Exciting.
You did say crack team and not replace the cover letter, didn't you?
I bet this is like being at the Masters dinner, Lee, and we've all got our green jackets on, and you're there in your Motorhead t-shirt.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder what menu I could come up with, though, John.
Right, yeah, that's an interesting one. We could do it on the serve as well. What would be your Masters dinner menu?
Yeah,
that's one for Sunday.
Yeah, one for Sunday.
Yeah.
Listeners, get back to us on that one. What would be your Master's choice 3-courser? Would it be Danny Willett's at Sunday dinner? And
not a Cleveland steamer, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not.
No, it was still steaming.
Good God. Levels we've sank to, and we're not 2 minutes in. Onwards and upwards, 1, 2, and 3 points round. We'll get straight on with it. Busy show. So, Andy, I'm going to come to you for your 1 point bet, please, over the next 2 days.
I'm going to shock you all because
all right,
I thought I'd play. There is jumping action this weekend, but obviously none tomorrow at all. So I'll be going cold turkey tomorrow with all this all-weather stuff. John will be in 7th heaven. It's all on the old all-weather. Tapperter,
absolutely.
Pollard track, all sorts of stuff. But I'm going to go to the Tapperter at Newcastle. And the 1 pointer is going on Alan King's Spartan Army in the 153. Nice improving animal, this. He's beaten a load of these before. I still think the horse is well handicapped. He's reeled off the last 3 wins. I couldn't really see anything that I was improving in this race. He's taken really well to the old synthetics. No Ross Orion this time, but Mr. Probert takes the ride. He rode him before. So I know we've got a lot to go through, so I won't babble on. Point on Spartan Army at around, I believe he's around 7-2.
7-2, we bet Victor and Coral Andy. Fast improving indeed. So I'll follow on from you with my 1 point bet, and it's in the same race, sadly.
Yeah, okay, now.
Which Palace Boy, trained by Ralph Smith, cough, Virgil O'Brien. 11-2 available with 365s and Billy Hills, I believe. I think this horse is still extremely unexposed. Bolted up twice from lower marks. Raced against Spartan Army last time, but 119% on the old sectionals wouldn't have suited Palace Boy, and he got outspeeded by Spartan Army. Spartan Army just had that better gear than Palace Boy, but he's £7 better off with Spartan Army for that defeat, and I believe that if they just go a little bit better pace, Palace Boy will show a lot more than what he did that day and possibly reverse the form, and that was the reasoning, really. So, 1 point win, Palace Boy, 11-2. JJ. Hello.
Right, the 1 pointer. Paddy's Courage, 140 Chelmsford. There were some strange rides at Saturday at Donny, especially some from stables where ex-jockeys are in charge. Murta's in the Lincoln and this one in the Brocklesby. You'd think the trainers had never ridden into a headwind before. Instructing the jockeys to go blasting off and trying to make all into one at about 40 mile an hour. Anyway, this filly acquitted herself quite well in the circumstances, I thought. Led till about 150 yards out. Comes into this the only one with any experience. She trapped brilliantly on Saturday, something that the rest aren't guaranteed to do here. Race savvy from then will hold her in good stead, in my opinion, over this sharp turning 5. 1 point win.
One problem here, though. 7-1 with Denise, 4-1 Paddy Power Betfair. So what do you want to do?
Two rule books.
Now I'm going to say we'll just go with 2 rule books.
Do you want the price of 4-1 or do you want to go Betfair SP?
I'm going to, funnily enough, I'm going to go 4-1 because I think people will wise up to this.
So you think the 7s ain't going to last with old Denise from their trader pusher outers for the old Bet365 overnight accounters. For 4-1 for you then, John, with Paddy's Betfair. Sorry I couldn't give you the 7, mate.
It's all right, I'm being shrewd.
Right, Quentin, finish off the round, please.
I get kick it off with the 14.05 at Lingfield Lee. Horse I want on side is Youthful King. Drawn in the car park here, but he's a horse that goes forward, and I just think they lap him round and go forward. I'm expecting the camera on the inside of the track, and a friend of the show, Graham North, he had some data a few years back about showing how slow they do go when that camera is in use on the inside track on the Range Rover. I think the pace, there's plenty of pace on paper, but I think they go steadier than his forecast here. You got a few in with a chance. Asgard's captain, but he's been round Lingfield once and didn't particularly like it. He's strong on the clock at Newcastle. Feel he's taking a chunk out of the market. Ralphra doesn't settle well enough in my opinion. Bystanders drawn wide and was still a bit green last time out. Youthful King did very well to get as close as he did. He needed the 3rd run to get into this. They dropped him out. Got the good kid claiming £7 up on top. And front-running tactics should suit around here. He's done it on the clock. He's capable of a mark of 90. As I said, the good kid on taking £7 off, and 20-1 looks overpriced. 1 point win.
Yeah, good case made. I looked at this horse myself, and we'll come on to that later. 20-1 for Quentin. On the nose as always. But if you do like your each-way bets, 4 places might tempt you with those firms as well. On to the 2-point round. I'll swing it straight back round to you, John, to kick us off.
The 2-point bet also runs at Chelmsford, and this is in the 5-10. And this one is Mr. Swivel. Wait for it. Wait for the punchline.
Okay.
This one caught me eye very much on debut. It was far from wound up and ran green as well behind a fair yardstick of Tom Clover's. Then he proper ran into one when he was made favourite for another maiden, this time at Kempton. He was badly away in last. The winner was in the front rank all the way. That winner, Coppersmith, of the Kilt stable, has won again since and is now rated 84. Mr. Swivel went on to break his maiden in what was possibly the worst race he's run in to date, to be honest. But that makes me think the handicapper might have let him in late here. He's got a single figure draw for this 2-turn event, which cannot hurt the 16 runners here. His dam has thrown 6 horses with ratings above this fella's current 75, which tells me there's plenty more to come from this fella. 2 points win.
6-1 general for you, John. So you happy with 6s?
What's the punchline?
Yeah, well,
that was the punchline that I'm
gotcha. Fine.
2 points win for John on Mr. Swivel. Continuing the round, my 2 points goes in the 3:15 at Lingfield, which is the marathon handicap there. And I'm very, very keen on one here. It's the Irish runner trained by Dennis Gerard Hogan Riame. 8-1 with Bet365 Paddy's Betfair. This should be fav. I think will go off fav. I'll be surprised if it doesn't, because simply the runs so far at Dundalk, when it won on the penultimate start, it got a very good sectional upgrade. It was very, very impressive and very strong through the line. Really like this horse at the marathon distance. Last time was in the race where the jockeys race where they all got fined, but he managed to win that race, apart from the winner that had won by about 70 lengths because they just left him alone. So he still won that race. So in effect, he's more or less a winner without a penalty because he's beat the rest from a poor position as well. So I'm very confident on this. It was close to 3 points, but I've got one better for you. And it's 2 points win, 8-1 Riami. Andy.
We're going to Musselburgh on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my old favourites, which I think is probably best fresh. The horse is Chillingham of Ed Bethel. Horse I really expect to see improve this year. He won on his reappearance last year. I think he's probably best caught fresh. He ran a super race last year when he was, fourth in that Copper Horse Handicap at Royal Ascot. A little bit disappointing after that. He was second in the Bell Ringer, fourth in the race at Hamilton, which I always forget what it's called, the Silver Bell. Ran really well on the all-weather last time we saw him back in November. I still think he's well handicapped. My one slight reservation, he can get a little bit behind and not settle, and that's never ideal at Musselburgh. But there looks to be enough pace in the race. Callum Rodriguez, who generally rides him, is back on board. He rode him to that good fourth last year, and I think he's actually got a little bit of speed. I think he's only rated 97. He would not surprise me if he improves £5 to £10 this year. So a couple of points on Chillingham in the Musselburgh 3:35 on Saturday.
Good stuff, mate. That's 9 to 2 generally available for you on Chillingham. Certainly a favourite of ours last season, etc. With planning some bets on occasion. So hopefully that'll do that for you, mate. Finish the round off, Quentin. Your 2-pointer, please.
My 2-pointer league goes in the 14.25 at Newcastle. The horse that I had on my very long 5 to follow list before they had him out early. Horse in question's Daring Legend. He's a sprinter at the end of the day. Didn't get 7 furlongs at Kempton on his reappearance. That form's worked out fine with the fourth going in last night. Type-wise, he looks perfect. He's the type that the yard will get the best out of. He'll be rated not in the 90s towards the end of the season. Dropped back to 6 furlongs, got the job done at Newcastle. Well positioned enough, but strode away from a modest bunch. They had a chance to go for a 6 furlong race, and I think he would have won that on the Saturday, but it wouldn't have qualified him for this. So they went for a 7 furlong race at Southall to get qualified. Just 2-3, to be honest, 2-3 at 7 furlongs. Drop back here will suit. He's already ran to his mark of 79 in that race over a triplet, didn't suit. He's up against a classier bunch, but I think he's grossly underestimated even by the market here. Blueprints is the main danger in the race. This track should suit him better. But I've kind of had Daring Legend after pricey as 2 points win 20 to 1.
Yeah, Quentin's trying to win the Naps table on day one. 2 points at 20s to go with his 20s in round one. He loves a big Walls Ice, does Mr. Franks, and certainly a very good case made there. And a horse certainly that we'll probably chat about later in the show. That finishes round 2 off. Before we come on to the biggest bet round, the best bet. Just plug again for Patreon. 5 to follow show. If you've not joined and stuff, you're missing out. Quentin already is 2 from 2 on the 3-year-olds to follow. Certainly winners galore. I think will ensue from this, and for literally £7 a month, it's an absolute steal. You get tons of stuff. Andy Richmond's notes, John's notebook, my sectional report will return. Jack's doing a Maydam piece for this weekend as well on audio. It's very well worth the money just for £7. And if you want to take your betting further, there is of course Edge, for a princely sum of £37 a month, where you get all our bets as well, going out at 11 a.m. each day. It's well worth the investment, we can assure you that. We're doing about 15% on investment since we started Edge, going out at 11 a.m, which is pretty darn good. On to the 3-point round, chaps. Quentin, you can kick us off.
I will kick us off in the 16-10 at Newcastle League. Easter Classic middle distance handicap. And the horse that I want on side and think should be favourite here is Temesius Fox. Genuinely think he would have gone close in the Winter Derby if they wanted to let him run there. They had him entered on the day of the week but didn't declare. He's been put in 8 to 1 here. I think he should be around a 4 to 1 shot. Did tremendously to win last time out, coming off a steady fractions, clearing away in a very good time for the grade. Looks to be a strong pace here. He travels, he settles, he's got a jockey upgrade. He's just rapidly improving, I think. I'm pretty sure he's a group horse on the all-weather. You've got Oso Grand at the top of the market. Yes, got a big mark up on the sectionals last time out, but it was a speed test at Lingfield against Fillies only. This is a very different ballpark. Temesius Fox, 3 points win. I think there's still 8s kicking about. There is 3 points win, 8 to 1.
Lovely. Love the case, love the confidence. Well, this is what you get on this show, folks. You're very lucky you get this for free. 20s, 20s and 8s from a premium flat judge. Certainly worth its weight in gold over the season, I would think. Great selections from you, Quentin. Thank you very much. Andy.
No surprise. None of this all weather stuff for me. BetUK 315, Veterans Chase. There you go. right up my street on the old Haydock Park slop. The only thing I wish it was, just to piss John off even more, it was be a Veterans National.
To be honest, I can't believe they're running a Veterans Chase, Andy, of a 2 mile, 3 furlong, 203 yards. They're usually about 4.2 miles, you know.
Yeah, it'll ride like 9 mile in that fucking ground anyway.
Kirkland's gone now, isn't he? So it might mind you, it is pissing it down with rain here at the moment. I'm about 10 miles away, so it could be rather interesting. Right, I'm going to actually, because there's 2 horses I've been waiting to back in these sorts of events. I'm going to have to split the stake here, 2v1. But the 2 points of my 3 are going on Numitor, who I thought ran a terrific race last time out, coming back from nearly a year off when he was 4th of 7 to Stormy Flight in another veterans event over a similar trip at Exeter last time out. Jumped really well in front, this horse. Just probably did a little bit too much in front, to be honest with you. But if he gets in a nice rhythm out front, it's hard to catch him round Haydock sometimes. He's really well handicapped, this thing. I'm hoping he gets a decent spring campaign in. If you wind back to the 25th of March last year, he was actually second. He was only beaten about 5.5 lengths by a horse called Heltenham, who hasn't done too badly this year. So he's really well handicapped on that piece of form. So a couple of points on him. And the other point is going on another horse I think he's really well handicapped in this race, Riders on the Storm. He just got caught last time out by a horse, another horse I really like in En Public at Doncaster last time out when he got collared in the last 50 yards. He might just struggle a little bit over this trip. I think he might be better over 2 miles these days, but if they dropped him back into veterans grade, and I can't ignore him, what I'm really trying to do is avoid backing a couple of others in this race, or would like to lay them, but I think this is probably the safest way of taking him on, particularly Thor de Cerisi, who I just don't like as a horse. So a couple of points on Numitor. I think he's around 6-1, but I'd take a little bit less. And a point on Riders on the Storm just to cover that bet on Numitor. And that's the 315 at Haydock.
Yeah, 6-1 you can have with Coral, Ladbrokes and Boyle Sports. And I'll give you 9-2 Riders on the Storm. It's 5 Hills, 9-2, bet 365. So it'll give you the second best option on that. Good stuff, Andy. Right, continue on with the 3 pointers. Very confident bet, really, this. I'm struggling to understand why it's the price it is. And it goes in the 150 Musselburgh Saturday, and it's Bill's Bar. Trained by Adrian Keatley, ridden by Jason Hart. Again, struggling to work out the prices because the Carl Burke horse, Ice Max, is 4-1. Well, Bill's Bar slam dunk this on last start at Doncaster last year. And I just think that run showed a real lot because the way this horse kept going, and the only one to beat it was the sadly deceased Edge of Blue, which has passed away. But that was 3 from 3. That was unbeaten in 3 starts. An unexposed Godolphin sort that had an official rating of 91 in the end after winning that. Just the fact how this is campaigned. On pedigree, you wouldn't think this would get a mile. But the way it runs, it wants a mile. It struggled. I'm obviously 6 at Ripon, but he did everything wrong at Ripon and still beat Rogue Enforcer, the Chapel Iron runner. That went on to beat Ingleby Archie and Tsunami Spirit. Has got an official rating of 85, and that led at Ripon. Did everything wrong, beat that, and you got Dougie Costello on it for 4 starts. And Jimmy Quinn. Come on, man. Pay up, bitches. It's time to pay. Bill's Bar.
Winning it next time.
Yeah, well, he won't because Jason Hart will. This is like incredibly great value. 8-1 is just incredible. Adrian Keatley gets him ready, and he will do for this. We've been quite valuable. He wants to keep getting on the board for his group and his clan. It's a yard that always trying to...
Keatley's on the up a bit, I think.
Yeah, and what makes the market? So Ice Max is 4s. How's that when he finished behind it at Doncaster? And individualism that's favourite. That's an half to subjectivist. Looked a bit weak last year. I expect it'll improve. The market says it's improved because they're backing it. But
now, no, it says trip.
The point with that is it's so one-paced, at these trips anyway, it just hasn't got any gears whatsoever. Whereas Bill's Bar, I think, has got more about it. So I'm so confident 3 points win, 8-1. Thank you very much. I'll shut the door on the way out.
Sport can make a nap.
Yeah. So, John, it's time for you to finish off the best bets round.
It falls to me. I'm going to pop the cork on Saturday, and I'm off to Cork. Lame, wasn't it? 115 at Cork. Go big or go home, which could be my epitaph, really, couldn't it? Now then, this is the stable upgrade of all stable upgrades. It's going from Brian Smart to Paddy Toomey, which is like swapping Bella Emberg for Kylie.
I'm spinning around, John.
Yeah. Now, the bond people haven't sold this. They've just got a bit pissed off with how things were going. They returned ownership of this half sibling to Batash and the Antarctic, rated 129 and 111 respectively on Racing Post ratings. Plus, Brian Smart had this in the Lowther at one point, can you believe? But he simply couldn't get her to where you'd want to be. So here we are at the juice farm. And funnily enough, you know how much I love it when things follow my script.
You got your Keegan earphones on when you said that? When you said you'd love it.
Well, I love this, right? Yeah. Because my note on the second run, fucking I'll get this to Aldroyd. And they've done better than get it to Aldroyd.
You're confident of a huge jump forward?
I think this will jump so far forward it might meet itself coming back. I mean, this is a big purchase for the bond people, and they'll want to see some serious improvement. Yeah. The half-brother by Blue Point sold last autumn for 1.5 mil. This is a tasty broodmare in waiting for them. Paddy Toomey will not mess about and get a win on the board quick for this. And the bonus is National Lady will make the market here. People will want to be all over this one on the form of the debut run, I think it was. So the price will hold up. So just have what you want on.
I love this game.
Oh, we do.
So what do you want me to do on prices? Do you want fair trade price the night before? Or do you
have a fair trade price and just gamble irresponsibly?
Speaking of which, right, it's interesting you said about it'll improve that much, it'll go back and come back round up to itself. You just brought a memory there from when I was younger, which was a mate sold a car and he sold it on the premise that he said, this car is this fast, it'll go to the top speed marker and go back round again.
Oh, fucking hell.
It was the greatest sales pitch I ever heard. And the chap that bought it actually believed it. But anyway, onwards and upwards.
I sold one where the mile limiter had gone right round again.
But you knocked it back to 30, John.
I don't know about that.
30k. Is that the green-coloured Austin Princess?
No. That was another Volvo 343, actually, but a navy blue one, a very sedate.
Fair enough. John's had some...
I said it was a mobility car.
Yeah. Yeah, they always give bad colours, don't they?
I've only been down to the news agents in it for 5 years. That was all.
This is the thing. I feel so sorry for disabled because you see them all driving around in brown, purple, and.
Talking of mobility cars, Davis will be getting out the old Blue Rocket again soon, won't he?
Absolutely. The only thing for Davis now, though, he's struggling to get on himself. He can barely get a tenner on, he says, in shops at the moment.
He calls it the Blue Rocket when he ties a knot in it.
I thought that's when he's taking one of those blue tablets.
King of the one-liners again. Right. Anyway, he's here all night, folks. Right, we move on to the TV races.
Any Youngman.
Yeah. Television. ITV racing tomorrow. I have 4 at Lingers. So we start in the 205 with the BetUK all-weather Vase. Asgard's captain represents a very solid favourite in the fact that won in a very good time with a little decent upgrade as well for Dylan Cunha, is the right favourite. But Quentin, we think this could be the wrong track for Asgard's.
Yeah, I think Newcastle's more his bag. I think Jack had mentioned reasons as to why he underperformed that, what's his name, that celebrity person on TV, ITV something or whatever, on the ITV racing, Chris something, whatever his name is. He had said he had ridden him up the hill and bottomed him out. But yeah, I think Newcastle's more his bag. He can open up. He's got a nice stride on him. You got to go for the pot at the end of the day. They've crept in low in the weights, so yeah, there's no harm in going for it. But I think he's taken enough out of the market at 3-4 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've tipped Youthful King, and with good reason. I like the reason. Ethan Jones will have to drop in. That'll suit the horse anyway, and hoping for a pace with that and some luck in running, and you could land a big bet. But what do we think to bystander, chaps?
Yeah, it's got the time on the clock. I think you had said it'd been working to around 90 for its first start for the yard, and yes, it's hit that mark. Underperformed the time after, but it clearly bounced and came too soon. It was just a bit wandery last time out for my liking. I think this is going to be a bit more competitive environment. He's drawn in 11. Like, it might just come too soon for him against hardened handicappers.
Yeah, John, you any view here?
I just thought Koblers was a bit unexposed at the trip and still a little bit of improvement, but I don't think I'll be having a bet.
No, I will say it's probably one of the most competitive days all-weather racing I think I've ever seen in the history of betting, really. I've never seen a day like this. It's incredibly tough. That's the reason why a few of us have gone for big price selections, because obviously it is that tough. Andy, did you have a view here?
Not really, no, didn't really. I've got a bit of a Nick Davis, no. Yeah.
240 is the all-weather Vase mile. Cephalus is rapidly improving for the Jelly Deal team. Frankel's jockey into 5 to 2 at the moment. Yeah, so syphilis, John. What do you think to that?
I think it's a terrible disease. It takes a lot of getting over. It's in form, isn't it? You know, I mean,
yeah, massive upgrade.
They generally say back until they get right. I haven't backed it once out of 3 wins. So if you can't go to the wedding, don't go to the funeral.
That's it. Yeah, you don't want to be caught at top marks. Quentin?
Feels shortish at the top of the market. Like you've been beating Intercessor and Candy Warhol last time out. It's a big step up. I know he was uber impressive last time out. I wouldn't be a backer. I wouldn't be a layer. And I couldn't really find one against him. But wouldn't be bouncing to get involved at 5 to 2, 9 to 4. Like, he's shortening up at the moment. Can see him getting sub 2 to 1 at some stage, and wouldn't be interested in at that sort of price. But found it tough to find a concrete one against him.
Yeah, I'll be firing the bent fire stick up at this point to watch Sheffield Wednesday against Swansea. Andy?
Echo the thoughts of the other boys, really. If there was a couple that were vaguely interesting, and I'd be interested probably in Quentin and John's and your views here on Borgie and the Irish horse Beneventi. They looked as though they could improve a little bit. Might be a bit of value at the price, but I wasn't rushing to get involved.
No, I think Beneventi really, it's one of them like Dundall run every week. It does tie in quite nice, some foam over there, but I don't know. They've upped him £7 for the last win, and I think that's enough to sort of put you off 78 to 85. I think that's just enough to maybe just say, maybe not. But look, who knows? It's that kind of race. I do think it's a sit-out race. We sort of get that from the preview so far. The 3:15 race, obviously I've tipped in this, the Irish stayer, Dennis Gerard Riami. Really like this horse a lot. I've priced this probably around 4 to 1. Obviously, will be ridden chilly, so you're going to need the luck factor in terms of pace. This horse is going places at the moment. He's improving. I won't change my view.
I think you're going to get the luck factor, aren't you, with the pace, because you got three kilts in.
Yeah, we've seen this before. I mean, Artisan Dancers run tonight, though. I don't think they'll run that one. They might pull that out. But then Know It Kilt, they probably won't. Don't miss a dance, that one, does it, Artisan Dancers?
You wouldn't pull it out for running at breakfast time tomorrow.
Yeah, don't worry, it's called Artisan Dancers. It is in every dance this winter. Yeah. Pons Alias with Vase at first time, so you know what that's going to get.
Yeah, especially with the one.
Tradesman's also ran this evening. That's in. Finished second tonight. So, look, I mean, it's the Nick Davis system, is it not? You back the Irish stayers and you back the British sprinters.
Yeah.
That's the Irish seem to have a better staying division than ours, and we seem to have a better sprinting division than theirs. That's the Nick Davis system. On Patreon, by the way, £7. Begging bowls out tonight, chaps. Quentin?
One that interests me, it was a kilt horse. Tenerife Sunshine's been on the go all winter pretty much, to be honest, but I've had him in the notes for a while, just wanting kind of 14 furlongs, 2 miles. He was outpaced last time out again and just kept on steadily throughout the line. Clock was strong enough on the clock. Doyle's on board. Leafy may not be his bag in terms of track configuration, given he's pretty sizable. At double figures, though, I'm willing to kind of chance my arm at that. Too much down the bottom of the market that I'm overly concerned about, and at least you'll get positive tactics. I didn't think there was too much pace in the race. I know there are kilt horses in the race, but you'd like to think that they won't cut each other's throat. Doyle's on top. Yeah, I kind of thought 10 to 1 was a shade overs.
Oh, you think he'll get the trip? Obviously, it's quite a big step up in trip.
Yeah, I think he'll get the trip. Run style suggests he'll get the trip. Like I said, I've been waiting for 1 mile and 3/4, 2 miles. He's tried 1 mile and 3/4 once, I think, but it was on desperate ground at York, and he just didn't go on the ground that day. So yeah, double figures appeals for him.
If that wins, that's going to depress me, especially if I'm second.
fast finish in second, beat by a short head.
By Charlie Johnston. Fantastic. John?
I thought Bascule was a little bit interesting, actually, for the strangely informed Richard Josiard, ridden by Ethan Jones, who's been gone too long. Banana Rama fans.
Ethan Jones,
Yeah, I thought that was a Spartan poke at the likely prices and given the makeup of the race pace-wise, because I don't think that'll be too far off the front end. Stays well, probably commit early and get nabbed by 2 or 3 of them close home, I would imagine.
Obviously, he's not won since 2021, and I backed him, it says, last year. I just felt that he was just coming to the boil. And like you said, for an informed Richard Josiard off 86, when I've been fancying him off higher marks than that, that's another one that could hamper my 2-pointer for sure. Andy?
Well, heightened by both your tip and Quentin's tick in the box for Tenerife Sunshine, because they were the 2 that I'd written down against the field. So they would be the 2 that I would back in this race, Nyami and Tenerife Sunshine. So best of the British to both of you.
Yeah, always good to have your opinion sort of validated at times, unless it's me that's incredibly drunk. Right, 350 at Lingfield. 5 to 1 Prince of Zenda. What is this? This is a proper get in the bin race, isn't it? I mean, Jesus Christ, what are we supposed to do with this? Only thing I've got, an opinion-wise, on this is intervention for the cock watchers, because it's got a horse that I think his best trip is 6, and they've gone 7-7, 5-7, 5. Last run over 6 was second to Just a Spark off 91. When Just a Spark was winning off 80, went in again off 82. And you think, well, that's a fair run, that. Just get short-headed, pulling hard. And we know what Leafy suits. Leafy suits the hard pullers because it's just such an easy track. I thought 11 to 1 was slightly overpriced, but that was the only opinion I had, Quentin.
Found it tough, very tough. You don't know. Princess Ender normally goes forward, but missed the beat 2 starts back, still won off of steady fractions. How impressive, deadly on the clock last time out, but again goes forward. The Irish horse that's been well punted is drawn 2. You don't really want to be drawn 1 or 2 in the sprint, see you're down the dead rail. Yeah, intervention. It's probably near the top of its mark, but it can hit that mark. I don't really mind the double figures on that. You've got question marks about the top of the market. Why not run in with one at a bigger price?
It's tricky as that Murter horse. He'll love this game if it wins, but he's had, he's had the £10 claimer on last twice. And I bet he was shocked when he actually won on it because the kid can't ride. Then it finished 3rd last time, and the excuse is fabulous. The excuse was, he doesn't like to hit the front too soon, this lad. So I had to get there as late as possible, said Rory Mulligan to the stewards after he was cruising a furlong out and could muster no more. He was probably tired, poor lad. If you want evidence, just watch the run before Damba Diplomat. Tell me that don't need to hit front too late. It's still in front, round the bend. Right? So what an absolute load of bollocks that was. Unless that were just a crafty flirt from I love this game. Don't win on this tonight because we're going for a nice pot. Who knows? Yeah, James Doyler, the Doyler on replacing him, might be respected. John?
Well, I was just about to look at this race and I got a chance to go and watch a blind toddler playing a minefield, and obviously it was no contest.
Oh, good God. Andy?
It's a bit of a crapshoot, isn't it, really? You can't get away from the fact that Exalted Angel is incredibly well handicapped if it rose from the dead. And the other one I looked at was the Hugo Palmer horse. Have we got a name for Hugo Palmer, by the way?
Carlton, yeah.
Oh, Carlton, yeah, Carlton Palmer. It was how impressive, who won at Southall last time out. But to be honest with you, you'd probably be better off taking up John's suggestion and going watching people playing in minefields.
Yeah, it's a disappointing punting race, that. It's a tough one, that one. That is a tough one to solve. Right. Newcastle, we go to the Premier All-Weather Championships held at the old Pitman's Derby venue. Spartan Army is 7-2 Fav, which Andy has tipped up. Palace Boy 11-2. So we've got the Favs covered. We're like ATR with these tips. We're like Alex Hammond and Josh Appiafi. Oh, what do you fancy, Alex? Spartan Army. What do you fancy, John? Palace Boy. It's fantastic. This is what you listen to this show for. First and second Favs tipped up in an all-weather championships race. So I don't think me and Andy's much to add. So Quentin, I'm coming to you for your opinion on this.
I've got the same opinion as you, Lee. Palace Boy, he's just rapidly improving. I don't think they'll go hard here, but he's already shown he can take a handy sit. Did that at Southall. They'll finish quicker than 119% here, which will suit him. Stamina in abundance. The quicker they go, the better. The one that was semi-interesting, but it was put in 14s, it's now 7s, was Kyle of Couch. That had done really well to win at Chelmsford. But Palace Boy, I'd kind of have more 11-4, 3-1 poke.
George Ruck, by the way, is doing 8-3. The lowest he's ever done in his life is 8-2.
I'll wait till he puts up £3 overweight in my head.
So this lad might be doing 3 laps at track before he gets in the saddle, as BHA took away the saunas, cunts. Right, John.
I don't think I'm going to have a bet, but I'd have to give a positive mention to Kyle of Lash.
Yes, Lochalsh, yeah.
Because it put it up the trains for last time.
What did it do? Did it take it up the what?
It put it up trains.
He put it up the tradesman's entrance last time at Chelmsford over the 14. It did indeed. And it's solid form for the level, to be honest. A vast improving horse.
Here we off a break, the old system.
Yeah. Joe must be a skeleton riding at 8-2.
Boiled down.
Remember that Scotch advert in the 80s?
Derek Guy, the Scotch tapes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how it's going to be with Scotch's lifetime guarantee. That's Joe tomorrow when he turns up. A bag of bones.
Well, he's been off colour, hasn't he? He's probably been on a drip for a fortnight.
I can't fault you on that one. That will be improving this year. It's one of them that ends up probably 103. And then you look back through its career like we all do, especially me and Quentin, and we look back and go, how the fuck has we got that beat off 70? Yeah. That's life, as Esther Ranson used to say. 225, the 6 furlong handicap is the £150,000 race. Yeah, they've made more handicaps this year. Interesting. Is that for bookmakers' reasons, or is that for... I don't know. I don't know what it is. Certainly, they put the prize money on, and they are turning up in numbers and in a competitive way. Franks has rightfully put up Daring Legend. There is a crosswind tomorrow, but it is dying down. So I'm not so confident that there will necessarily be a stand-side bias on the straight at Newcastle. But that tends to be the case when there is a crosswind. It's dropping to about 12 and 11 miles an hour, which starts to get less significant than when it's really blowing. But keep an eye on that. If you're punting, check the wind form at Newcastle. Always pays well to do so. Any views on this, chaps? Who wants to kick me off?
I'm with Quentin.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The prices, you cannot fault this, the price. It is the type of horse that ends up 90s. Nothing not to like about the 6 furlong win, albeit from trees. Type that Appleby just gets to go up the grades like they do.
It was going to be in my 5 to follow, actually, but they went and won with it before we recorded.
Yeah, there you go. It's a tip in itself. I don't think that 20s lasts at all. I think
it's 22s now.
Yeah, the cock watchers will be in the morning, getting on that. The old Martin and Chris Dixon and whoever else is in it. Bellman, whoever, they'll all be like blasting on that in the morning.
Horse watchers hate this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair play. Andy?
I thought that Fire Demon was quite interesting here. It was almost made he was sort of about 5th or 6th on the list, but I thought the display at Lingfield was disappointing, but the race at Kempton Park last time out of a mark of 82 wasn't. And I thought that he looked a little bit of a better horse with a more galloping test. If the wind form, as you say, Lee, is right, he's got a decent draw.
Yep.
Andrew Baldwin won this last year with Desert Cop. He is also the most successful trainer with the shirt on All Weather Finals Day. I thought he was quite handily drawn in 10, and I think he can reverse. I think he's probably, although the Botty horse sommelier probably sets the standard, I take on board your comments for Daring Legend, but I just think Fire Demon with Oshin on was pretty interesting here.
Yeah, impressive last time. Didn't get the rub of the green at Lingfield.
No, well, how often does that happen round there?
No point me saying a lot here. It's a great race, and I do respect the big price selection because the 20s, that's my advice to punters on finals day. I think you need to look for some big odds because it is that good. The 3 o'clock race, right, I'll kick us off. It's the Fillies and Mares. Hey, you love Fillies and Mares, John. And 9/10 is 2-1 Jolly with a pilot that I literally cannot have. He must have got photos of Agus doing finger pies with people. What on earth? I can't work it out. I don't know what's happening. Can someone explain to me Jack Enright claiming 7? I don't want to. I'm already doing it, but Quentin, let's have a chat here, right? This lad should not be riding in an £150,000 race on a 2-1 fav. Am I correct?
You are correct. I wouldn't put him on a rocking horse, to be honest. Like, I've never ridden a horse, and I can imagine it's quite hard and all that malarkey. But why is he riding Vegas? Like, we've seen, I know he's won on the horse, whatever, but the race set up perfectly for him. But there's so many better jockeys around than him to put on this. Like, stripe it. Like, he's not worth. Like, a lot of £7 jockeys are worth their 7. He is not. I would not put him up if he was claiming 14.
No.
It's taking a chunk out of the market. You can get twos on the field.
Yeah.
Back to field.
Yeah. How much does he cost us this? When we've put like probably 3, 4, maybe 5 bets out with him on. And finally, last time we just went, that's it. That's it. He's in the bin. You just can't do it anymore. And anyone that's taking 2-1 that with him on is just... sorry to say, I don't want to do young prospects. I blame Agus. I blame that team. I'm not blaming the lad because it's not the lad's fault. If they're giving the lad the ride, that's down to their judgment. So I'm blaming Agus. I'm blaming the shirt. The shirt team are wrong here to be putting a lad of that nature right now in this kind of race. This lad should be riding in his own class for now, gaining experience, and he shouldn't be on mainstream horses at 2-1 like this. Exactly what Quentin says. The angle in the race is just strike that because he's got no strength at the moment. He needs to strengthen up. He needs to develop his skills. And it's just terrible, terrible jockey booking. I've no idea why they're doing this. If I were an owner, I'd just withdraw horse. I'd say I'm taking it away. I'm going somewhere else. Or I'd refuse to have him in the saddle. John?
Not a lot I can add to that.
No, it's pretty scathing, I know, and I don't like doing it, and I feel uncomfortable saying it because it's probably a young lad that's trying to build his career, and he won't listen anyway, but somebody might tell him. That's the bit I don't like. I bet for a living, so that's what you have to do. You have to come to a conclusion that this lad... I mean, it's like Maxwell on one at Fontwell. You know, this is...
Indoor. Well, he nearly decked it at the last again. He nearly did that at Ludlow.
Yeah.
The time before.
Right, you have to say it as you see it. You can't just be all sympathetic to people just because, oh, well, he's a young lad and he's learning his trade. I know he is, but he should be doing it in the right way, not on this kind of race where you've got, like, jockeys, for example, that's riding. You've got Ross Orions and your Tudorps and your Oisin Murphys, and you can't be doing this. It's just... No, it's a massive...
Oh, but as a podcast, we're entitled to our opinion on him. Like, people might not watch as much racing. Well, I doubt people watch as much racing as us. So maybe they've not seen Jack Enright in the saddle. Maybe they've not had the time to watch the videos of him, like Thunderflow taking the piss out of him round Chelmsford. So, like, it's us giving our opinion. Other people might have a different opinion. They might think he's great value for his £7 claim.
Thunderflow was
people
keen.
would be wrong.
Will you say Thunderflow was pretty keen?
I just thought, no, as a horse, I wouldn't say it was a keen horse. I just think the horse took the piss out of him and kind of dragged him where he wanted. There was lack of control from the saddle.
7 Furlongs Newcastle, it can be quiet on this horse early and bring him through late. So, disgraceful for me, Philly. The point remains that it's still not value for 7. So you're not...
No, you see, this is the twat of a place at the best of times. I think this is tricky for a fully fledged jockey in Newcastle. You know, I think it's a proper piss hole, to be honest.
Yeah.
As regards that straight course. I mean, people on the front end very, very rarely get it right. You know, for some reason, this course takes some knowing. For that reason, that would put me off any £7 claim, let alone one that's got such scathing reviews from your lads. You know, I mean, I'd be very wary. I'd be looking for a top jock in a race like this.
Yeah, I just find it very strange from Agus, who we regard, by the way, as a podcast. The Agus team, we think is pound for pound probably just about the best trainer in the land. He's up there with Gosden and Beckett on these shows for what he gets. And I do think I rate them, but I've no idea what they're doing on this. They've booked him all winter, and you scratch your head at some of the rides that's been given. I mean, you'd probably give him like 2 or 3 chances just to see what they're like, but no, he's had too many. That's the play anyway. We don't need selections in that really, because kind of summed it up. You just play that and you just take it on. You have to do. And if it wins, don't come moaning. Bet more on next race. Have more on to get it back. That's what you do. That's called responsible gambling. Obviously, you see the front race before, and if you leave yourself half an hour, you're half an hour to cool off. You'll be back, and then you'll get it back on next. Cover up 5-1 jolly for the all-weather sprint. Another impossible race from my point of view. So who do you come to when it's impossible? Quentin Frank.
Right. I thought the XOs crashed in price. I think they put in 33s, 40s. That was the one that caught my eye last time out on its third spin to qualify, like kind of circumnavigated the field after being slowly away. Price has gone on that. At the top of the market, the price on cover up's going as well now, to be honest. Thought that was solid from 13. We'll just track the pace. Settles well enough nowadays. Don't think he's won over 6 at Lingfield. I don't think 6 is an issue for him. Havlin in the saddle again, fine. The 5s probably would have been a bet. 100 to 37 to 2 that he is generally kind of happy to sit it out. If the XO just back out to kind of 25s, 33s, then on the shows, then I'll have a dart at that.
Fair enough. Nice big shout there. John, what do you think's on the pan after his float up at 12 furlongs last time?
Float up's very appropriate, isn't it?
I'm here all night.
Well, no wonder. I don't think I'm having a bet here. No, I'm not.
Andy Richmond.
Not a race again, as you say. It is a very, very difficult race. I must admit, I had a look at the XO as well. But the 2 that I thought were vaguely interesting to back of the sofa money were 5,000 to 1. That's not the price, by the way. And their old friend Summerhand, who looks pretty well handicapped. I'm not sure if he's still up to winning something like this, but he don't owe me anything. So if I had to back anything this race, it would be Summerhand and 5,000 to 1, which is taking on a bit of a warmer opposition than he has so far. But I thought he looked a little bit overpriced on his form in that Class 2 handicap at Kempton last month, where he powered home off a strong pace, and you often see them come from a strong pace at Newcastle. It looks like it should be a strong pace here. So I just have a little worry about cover up at 6 furlongs, but you've seen more weather racing than I have this winter. So, but that was just on my reading of the form book. But if I had to have a couple of little darts at it, 5,000 to 1 and Summerhand at double figure prices on the exchange.
Good stuff, mate. Right, 410, the 10 furlong all-weather Easter Classic, which also Quentin Franks is very keen on one here. Tamusius Fox rapidly improving for the King Power Balding and Murphy partnership. He says this will end up a decent little group horse going forward this season, which I think probably to win this off a mark of 105, it's going to have to be so. Quentin, do you want to give me some rundown of the other runners that you thought was yay and nay?
Also grand, I thought, was a nay at the price. Reasons mentioned previously. Lingfield against Fillies. This is different kind of calibre, drawn in on the inside as well. Penzance, yeah, fine at the prices. Elegant Man's got the form behind. What's the Appleby horse called that came out and won at after Kempton? Can't remember its name, but it's short enough at 4 to 1. Stormcatcher's out of its grade here. To Catch a Thief is interesting. I know you were keen on it earlier in the year, yes, and just seemed to underperform out in the car park draw, but 10 to 1 is sporting. There's 10s in a couple of places. Blancheland I didn't particularly like. Sabusca's just looks kind of half gone at the game, and the rest seem to be making up the numbers, in all honesty. I had Temesius Fox in as favourite. I kind of thought 4-1, 7-2 would be his price. Like I said, I would have been happy to back him in the Winter Derby at something like 7-1, 13-2, given what he would have been taking on there. I genuinely think he's a group horse on your weather.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. John?
I don't really think I can add anything to that, to be honest.
No, I like Quentin's opinion, but I also think To Catch a Thief is obviously I think is very useful. So fingers crossed on that, because I will be covering To Catch a Thief, and we'll be back in Quentin's. Andy?
Obviously, respect Quentin's opinion, and I did think he was a little bit overpriced. The other one I liked was Elegant Man, who I think Quentin quite liked there. The horse he bustled up was the Breeders' Cup Turf Hero and Doha Group winner Rebels Romance over 1.5, over a mile and a half. That form looks pretty decent, actually. I think he's got a bit of scope to improve. So if I had to back a couple in the race, it would be Elegant Man and Temesius Fox.
John, you got a very good paddock note on Elegant Man, I think. You think he's got quite a bit of substance about him, you said?
Yeah, he's a grand horse, yeah.
Do you think he can defy 108, John?
He'd be in that ballpark.
Obviously, with Ginger Dave as well, with the start to the season he's absolutely flying. The lad's on fire. Can't stop smiling.
Literally, with his ginger hair.
Yes, send him to Athens in July with no sun cream. Right, 440 Newcastle. Oh my God, this is like when relatives won't go home.
I know.
This is to finish off, really. So here we go.
They won't go home and they've drank all your gin.
And it's terrible, this. No top-ups either. Yeah, so dear my friends, 7-2, 513. It's got to give absolute tons of weight away. But, I mean, what do we think here, chaps? Quentin?
Absolute buckets loads away, isn't he? Surely he can't defy 113. Like, he's had it easy on the front end the last twice at Lingfield, off 110%, 109%. I know he won well here off of 97, but he's £16 higher now. It's going to be a tough old gig. I think he's short enough. I liked one down the bottom of the weight, Zealot. They put it in a bullseye, and he's kind of been shortened up. He's 40s and 33s. I didn't think he was dead last time out. It got 3 quick spins into him. I know he had an issue which kept him off the track, but Wolverhampton over 12 wouldn't have suited him. Lingfield, he showed enough there, just getting tired late doors. It's kind of like fitness has been built up in these runs. And then Wolverhampton in the Lincoln trial, I think he went well enough for long enough, like turning him to the home straight. He was still on the bridle. They went hard enough there, and he just faded out of things late doors. Ginger Dave's on, I think, and 40s appeals as a small bet. Should have the sort of setup he wants with the pace step coming down the stand side rail. If there is a crosswind, then being drawn 14 will be no bad thing at all. He's been dropped £4 for a run that still showed there was some sort of spark in there, and 20 days off to get a bit more draft into him. Think he'll outrun his odds.
Yeah, I don't know what BetMGM's on about. BetMGM said it Racing Purse. He says the handicap has done him no favours. Dropped him 4 for the last one. What did he want? 10?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, mate. No flat horse gets dropped like that. £4 for a coconut, a good coconut, it's pretty good, really. Terrible form from Mick there, as the cock watchers try to land another big pot. That's a massive price, as pointed out by Quentin. Job.
Symbol of Light being consistent, and according to assistant trainer Steve Brown, this has been the target all winter. So Symbol of Light for the good year that can match your team.
And finally, Symbol of Light might just get something to run at for once in its life, which it's been unlucky in a way because it's just not had things drop for it, and this should suit. And there'd be we're into no excuse saloon here for Symbol of Light. I think you're right, John. That's the one I'd be backing tomorrow. Andy?
Wanted to be against Dear My Friend, because as Quentin said, I think he's had it pretty easy off the front end, off very slow fractions. Can't see it beating that sort of rating. 2 I liked. You've mentioned one of them already, Symbol of Light. And the other one I like is Kingdom Come, who I think's got a fair bit of improvement left in it. 4 out of 6 on the all-weather. benefited from a step up in trip and won the Lincoln Trail last time out. So, it's fit with the excellent Russell Ryan on board. I think it's got a good chance of being champion jockey this year. If you didn't want to lay dear my friend at a sort of 4-6, 4-7, then maybe a little Dutch of Symbol of Light and Kingdom Come if you want to play in that race.
Good stuff, Andy. That finishes off the Friday TV. Obviously, as a show, we haven't time to go through every TV race on Saturday, so we're coming to the point where we say any other business on Saturday, points of interest, horses of interest, and I'll come round each of you. John?
No.
John's laid out for tomorrow, and he'll be laid out on the Shays Long on Saturday. I've no doubt watching ITV racing from a critical angle for the sermon on Sunday. Andy?
Right, I'll go to Haydock very, very quickly. Thought Playful Saint in the 205 for the Skeltons. They've managed to get that quite well handicapped of 134. The other thing I would try and do at the moment is, I think the John Joe O'Neill stable, I think they're in a bit of a slump. They had they had a winner today, but that was you could have won that. I could have won that on a rusty bike with a trampoline against that lot. The other three that they had fancied all fell out the back of the telly, so I'd avoid them at the moment a little bit. So Playful Saints in that 205. The Challenger Hurdle Series, if you don't mind backing Lucy Gardner on horses, and I'm really forcing myself to do this because I think she's about as good a rider as Jack Enright. But Astronomic View absolutely gagged up, and he'll love the conditions. I was hoping that they might put a rider on this in the 240, but it'll be a tough ask. Done the Veterans Chase, nothing in the 350, the Tim Maloney. There's one in the there's a couple in the Novices Handicap Hurdle, both barrels from one of the Williams yards. I can never work out who's related to who there, but the one I really like in that is Best Life from the Mel Rowley yard. It's going to make I want to see this one go over fences. I'm surprised they actually haven't gone over fences, but love this 3 miles handicap debut. Cannon and ball on, and off a mark of about 100. I think they've got it in quite lightly here. So there's a few if you're dabbling at Haydock on Saturday.
Good stuff. I like the Best Life angle. I do like that one. That was sort of on my radar as well.
With Cannon and ball on.
Yeah, Tommy Cannon.
Lovely. Tommy Cannon, rock on Tommy on,
Absolutely. Quentin?
I was with you in the opener at Musselburgh Lee. I think it's the opener 1350. Yeah, Bill's Bar was one of interest. Berkshire Nugget, not sure to go on the ground. Individualism, yeah, it's got form around. It has got nice form. Admittedly, looks well handicapped on it, but does look slow, and Musselburgh might not suit. Johnny Ringo had it easy on the front end at Newcastle and seems to be poorly handicapped. Like Bill's Bar should probably be half the price, if that.
Yeah, astonishing. Yeah.
That was that. The 1425. David O'Meara started the year well. Darkness, I know it's by Sayuni, but it's got soft, heavy ground form. I think this race could potentially set up. You got horse in it like Guidor. It's won it the last twice, but you can't be backing Guidor for fucking 100, can you? 14-1 Darkness appeals as a price with the yard in form and Tudhope up. And in the what time's the novice? In the novice, which is 16:10, I think Johnston's might be taking a chunk out of the market here. Fairly fluent mover. Not sure it wants soft ground. Not sure it will want muscle, but a big galloping type. Fairly fluent action, and not sure a mile and a half round here will suit. Not sure what to take it on with, but not Torrent, the Andrew Baldwin trained horse who hasn't grown a tap since his 2-year-old season and looked very awkward hanging left last time out.
Good stuff, mate. And for me to finish, I got a Haydock in the 240, which is the Challenger Hurdle final. And it's a horse I put up last time on the pod, Picanha. I'm sure some of you would probably want to know my views on that. And I did fancy the horse quite strongly, as it was my 3-point bet at Newbury last time. I think possibly he got it wrong in terms of fitness, because the horse was travelling all over them. Came through looking like $1 million. I started getting excited, spending the winnings, and then just completely stopped and weakened in the closing stages after a long absence. I like the fact they've left 7 weeks off. I'm not quite happy about held up at Haydock round here at 3 miles. I always like to be in the van or somewhere near in the van. But apart from that, if somebody's offering me 12-1 tomorrow on the shows or bigger, then I'm playing Picanha as well. I do like the case what Andy made for Astronomic View, but like you say, you're going to have to be out on that with Lucy on, because you don't want something upsides that's going like just as well, because whoever's on it will outride her, and that's that.
The thing will travel through the slop if you saw it last time out of Warwick, and it's still quite well handicapped. But Jesus, I mean, in a finish, you just like about as good as a bag of spuds.
So if I would say if you're playing Astronomic View, like back it and stick some layers in, because you don't want to be watching her on running.
May well appear in Traders' Quarterly.
7 that one. Traders' Quarterly.
Another winner out there. Another winner out there today.
Weatherby today, the JPOs. Love it. To finish the show, chaps, I hope you've enjoyed today. It's some great opinion from all of us, and hopefully it's a profitable Easter weekend for us. We're back on Sunday with a sermon, and as always, keep gambling responsibly, drink plenty of gin, eat plenty of pate, and have more on when it goes wrong. That's all from us. Bye for now.